We're at Cos d'Estournel with Jean-Guillaume Prats. Jean-Guillaume, thank you for welcoming us here.
It's a pleasure, welcome.
If you could please give us some background information about the 2010 vintage here at Cos, please.
Well, we've been very fortunate to have an extraordinary weather patterns from the previous winter, the last of harvest. Any great vintage in Bordeaux is either a vintage where there has been an accident with Mother Nature, such as 61, 2003, and to a certain extent 2009, or it's a vintage where Mother Nature has been very kind, with no excess throughout the 4 or 5 months of the acquisition of the FINE+RARE of the grapes. That was the case certainly in 1982, but that was also the case in 2005 and in 2010, where we had exactly what we wanted. It's been the driest vintage of the last 10 years, but with less sun exposure than 2009 and obviously the 03.
Yeah, okay. And we've heard in other places that particularly there were some problems around flowering time for the Merlot. Did you have any problems here?
Yes, we did, like everybody, simply because we had a little bit of rain and cold temperature. So it's a great Cabernet vintage,
yeah.
And we have a slightly higher proportion of Cabernet than we would have thought in a vintage which could be comparable like 05.
And how does that play out as the final blend? Have you worked out what the blend will be here?
No, not quite. We have another session so by the end of February, okay. But roughly we're going to be 70%, 75% Cabernet,
yeah.
And then 25-30%.
I mean, what I've heard elsewhere is although the Merlot harvest was very small, the quality was very, very, very good. And so even though the blend perhaps has shrunk a little bit in favour of Cabernet, the contribution of the Merlot is very good because it gives it so much richness.
Don't expect a Bordeaux to tell you that what he has harvested is not of great quality, so I'm not surprised it's been told to you.
And if we compare these last two very good vintages, how do they sit next to each other?
Well, in the case of Cos, 2009 is a very baroque wine, exuberant wines, probably very untypical of what we have done in the past, of what Bordeaux used to be. 2010 is probably a step backwards towards more classicism. Mm-hmm. There's certainly more aristocracy and balance in 2010 than there is in the 09. For me, the 2010 is a very clever blend of the fatness, the freshness, the young, the power of the 59, and the sort of harmony, class, and classicism of the 2005.
Well, the 59 is an absolutely magnificent wine, so if it's somewhere in that direction, then I think our customers are in for a real treat.
That's how I look at it. I mean,
yeah.
Everybody has to make his judgments
and
feels about it.
And I understand that the cooler nights and the slightly cooler daytime temperatures versus 2009 means there's more freshness in the wine, more acidity. Is that true here at Cos as well?
Absolutely. And as I said, the wines are more of a maritime climates. They're much more of a Bordeaux typical style, which has a very long, refreshing finish with fairly low pH. So they're very different from the 09. I mean, you've described them very well.